RNZ News at 1. Morena, good morning, I'm Todd Zano. Australian experts say New Zealand has a chance to mitigate the death and disruption Omicron can bring. The highly contagious variant has ripped through New South Wales and Victoria, exposing testing regimes, decimating supply chains and causing the deadliest days of the pandemic. It's predicted that half of New Zealand could be infected by Omicron. However, flattening the curve and concentrating those infections in younger and healthier populations would be key to preventing such high numbers of infections. University of Sydney epidemiologist Alexandra Martinek says if such an approach had been taken in Australia, it might have saved lives.
If we had gone a bit slower and slower on our curve, we would have put the pressure on the systems over a longer period of time, yes, but we probably would have experienced such a crises.
Members of the Silver Ferns travelling party who recently returned from the Netball Quad Series in London have tested positive for COVID-19. Netball New Zealand Head of High Performance, Keir Hansen, says they tested positive during their stay in managed quarantine facility. The affected members are being managed in accordance with health rules and being supported by Silver Ferns medical staff. Mr Hansen says every person in the touring party following strict protocols while in London and returned a negative pre-departure test prior to their travel back to New Zealand. The Green Party says the government must ensure Auckland Light Rail is accessible to all communities. The government's chosen a combination of below and above ground lines from the city centre to Auckland Airport. The option, which will cost about $14.6 billion, is recommended by the Auckland Light Rail Establishment Unit. Ministers have also committed to building a second connecting Waitemata harbour crossing as a preferred option for the project selected next year. Union MP Ricardo Menendez-March says while the party would prefer street-level light rail down Dominion Road, it's time to get on with the project. Westpac Bank has issued a warning about a scam targeting the Chinese community. The bank says it's noticed an increase in scammers posing as a person of authority, such as a police officer from China, to intimidate their victims into paying them money. Westpac's head of financial crime, Mark Coxhead, says unfortunately some people have fallen for the ruse and the public ought to be on the lookout.
Remember, police won't really contact you in a video call, or they won't phone you and ask you to send money straight away. Also, threats that you might face legal action, or your online history or photos or things will be exposed. A true government agency or police won't blackmail you.
Mark Coxhead says people should contact their bank immediately if they think they're being targeted. The United Kingdom's Metropolitan Police have told Sue Gray to keep key details out of her report into lockdown parties at number 10, throwing the process into confusion. The Met says it does not want Ms Gray's report, which had been due to be published this week, to prejudice their investigation. Ms Gray had been due to hand the report to Downing Street earlier this week. There are now doubts about whether her report can be published as planned. She's been in talks with the Met over what can be included in it, and it's thought these negotiations are behind the delay in publication. The Met insists they have not asked for Ms Gray's report to be delayed. And in sport, Neil Medvedev will play Rafael Nadal in the Australian Open tennis men's singles final. Second seed Medvedev beat Stefanos Tsitsipas in 4 sets. Yesterday evening, 7-6, 4-6, 6-4, 6-1. And that's the news. Media Watch returns this weekend looking back on what we missed in the media since Christmas, including anti-vaxxers filling the airwaves.
Joe, could you promise me one thing?
Yeah.
Never ring again.
Okay.
Bye. Also, satirist Bob Victor, shameless, seemingly shameless, and working around that comprehensive communications wipeout to cover Tonga's tragedy. That and more on Media Watch after 9 on Sunday morning with Jim Moore, and again after the 10 p.m. news on RNZ National. We're on air, we're online, Fair Air Channel 50 and Sky Channel 421. Now the short forecast from Met Service up until midnight tonight, Saturday, for all of mainland New Zealand, except the South Island West Coast and Stewart Island, a fine day for most. Some areas of cloud morning and night. Buller and Westland, cloudy periods, a few shower or drizzle patches developing about Westland in the evening. Fiordland and Stewart Island, cloud increasing, isolated showers or patchy drizzle developing about Fiordland this morning, rain developing about Stewart Island at night. Into the Chatham Islands, cloudy periods with a few light showers until afternoon, then becoming fine in the evening. This is RNZ National, 5 minutes past 1. Have more news and weather for you at 2. Hope your Saturday is rather pleasant, although the monkeys tell us Sunday should be as well. Only one of the original monkeys still alive, Mickey Dolan. The other three sadly have passed on. Pleasant Valley Sunday on a pleasant Saturday morning here at RNZ National on the all-night program, 8 minutes past 1. Good morning, I'm Todd Zahner in for Peter McElwain. He's having a well-deserved weekend off. Talking about the monkeys, thank you. Stuart in Auckland, enjoying hearing the monkeys. Also a text before the news at 1, Pete Sinfield. The Night People would be a very good, perfect follow-up to all those night songs. Chris in Otautahi, Christchurch suggested that it would be. Thank you, Chris. Much appreciated. 2101 was the text line. Speaking of the monkeys, I was born in Los Angeles, specifically in Hollywood. Just happened to be where the hospital was on Sunset Boulevard. I'm a fully fledged New Zealander now, so I'm perfectly legal to be here. I came out with my parents 50-something years ago now, at the tender age of 8 minutes. Anyway, speaking of the monkeys, we lived around the corner from them. Apparently, they rented a house in the Los Feliz area, very close to Hollywood, because it was close to where the TV studios were at the time, on, I think it was Talmadge Street in the Los Angeles area. So there's a little story about the monkeys. Great music. 9 minutes past 1. Music that survived the Nazis, Part 1. Around a 1:15 this morning. It's the first episode of this program. It explores the music of the Jewish Culture League, as well as the work of 2 Jewish record labels active at this time, including a huge range of works recorded in Nazi Germany, from orchestral pieces to cabaret songs and more. It's coming up in around 5-6 minutes' time here at RNZ National. You recognise that? Yes, it's the re-imaging of the Ray Charles classic. I Got a Woman, that's I Got a Man. That's Annie Williams, 1961. 13 minutes past 1, RNZ National on the all-night program. Another birthday of note, Tom Selleck is 77 today. You might know him better as Magnum P.I. Tom Selleck, born on this date, 1945. Time flies, doesn't it? He's Paul McCartney now. That track is new. It's called New. Title track and single from his 2013 album, New. W. It's Paul McCartney, still sounding good here at RNZ National. Now, there's a common misconception that music under the Nazis was either degenerate music to be suppressed or propaganda music that was officially sanctioned. Historian Julie Gilbert shows that there was a wealth of different music making during this period, including secret sessions by Jewish musicians and others that managed to evade official scrutiny. Also, episode 1, part 1, exploring the music of the Jewish Culture League, as well as the work of Lucrophone and Simmer, 2 Jewish record labels active at this time. This includes a huge range of works recorded in Nazi Germany, from orchestral pieces to cabaret songs to religious song of enormous beauty. Music that survived the Nazis. Episode 1.
On October the 1st, 1933, a large audience was gathering for a sold-out show at the Berliner Theater on Charlottenstrasse, right in the heart of Berlin. This was the first official performance from a brand new arts organization in Germany. There was opera, there was orchestra, there was house music, and there was also theater. The main organization was in Berlin, and there would be offshoots eventually in all major cities in Germany, known as the Jüdische Kulturbund. This was an organization that would expand and flourish throughout Germany in the 1930s.
The Kulturbund was an island of serenity. It was a place where the audience members could gather for a couple of hours on a Tuesday night to hear Mendelssohn or Mahler or see a show.
Writer and broadcaster Martin Goldsmith.
And she said when she and her family decided to emigrate to America, their colleagues said, "Oh, you're such a fool to leave the country. It's good work here, and we're all going to be stars in the Kulturbund ballet." And she says none of those people survived. Another man I interviewed said we were figures on the Nazi chessboard. The whole thing was a lie from beginning to end. And he maintained a real sense of anger that he had been used and manipulated by the Nazis, being a part of the Kulturbund.
The Jewish Culture League and its orchestras were overseen by a Nazi official named Hans Kunkel, who reportedly
One for program for our listeners in Melanesia.
From Pacific, Extra and ABC Radio Australia. From FM, your mobile phone, your live streaming, on abc.net.au/Radio Australia. Hello, Gisana, welcome. Long this like 3 plus 10 minutes. Long news and current affairs. Long ABC Radio Australia. One to program today, Friday, number 20th day, long moon January 2022. Me, Caroline Perelman. Flow program. Sample passenger who had been loose ase long ol solwara lo burgundy, your right, la ikamat back police long buka. Iga big nari or some passing blong still nothing or narapa behind him top wind long sanguma by igo head yes suppose country in a strong him low blong making sare. Community belong Kenya, belong Papua New Guinea, is start belong raising more funds or money, belong helping more people, belong all behind in volcano eruption, not tsunami. Now, one belong SPC or Pacific Community by selling more agricultural seeds, belong helping more people, belong iplanin gen or kai way bin bagara, belong tsunami na volcano. Tasal Patem, Samplani, Pantem, Belinda Cora. Just Minister of Victoria, Martin Foley, is about 10 big COVID-19 pandemic. The work long go down now. Mask is stated in looking big. The number 3, long all people, it die long this sick long aste. Number of people who started in die aste and 39, and so stated in looking 4,755 for only the COVID-19 case. Now, yet, online long Australian therapeutic good administration, it about close to 9 or 1 people in Christmas blow all is samples and 16 or 17 5,000 if they find the booster vaccination blow all. Australian Federal Parliament on camera by passing a law that people by not to inside long masculine politician by Quebec law moon behind. Pick up long house, the president on Senate, the Billy Paulson Latinas walk one time long stopping. Mary Kelly to Pantem Hildaway long this la. Then always there to protect life. Now then no can just follow. Perpetrators fight follow. People know what the standing of justice so justice by prevail man by taken out on Slakan Edina. So time now Kiram not of some Slakan or land posting that plan. So no personal views for me looking at them. Someone has no right to take someone's life away until and when not and later and call him Slamano. So it's the MGB kilometer long power cycle. That's definitely interesting. Yes. So Homa Kumakai basically mean of them even got one story before where Thailand been doing cover and while holding this cover one rat been run inside Lonamel there is a covered ceremony now. She's been kissing the Sarat and been tiger. So after now give his name Lodisla village kilometer. And also it's one of the tourist attraction, the blowhole
Antaplo Tonga, and even the primary school Blomilo, Tonga Tapu, and Bikla Island is the group. So basically, I'm at and tomorrow I'm meet up by all order. So inside, Lodisla Kaika and meet up at Tongan Umu, and also Mumu. So inside Lodisla Tongan Umu, meet up at Cassava, Kauka, meet up at Kumala, and then loose tipi, and also lamb, and meet up at putting inside. So normally we just put him inside no salon lid. But we can also you see more IDK.
Akami manager Blong Markets for Livelihoods program 110 SPC or Civic Community Long Fiju. Now radio friend is talking me Plagat Long program today. In a week behind, we Caroline Tiriman of Makin Hilda Wayne Belinda Cora me play for Dupla weekend long Dupla Olgeta. Good night.
Thank you, Tomas. That's been the ABC's One Talk program there for our listeners in Melanesia. You're listening here now to RNZ Pacific.
You're listening to the Pacific Service of Radio New Zealand. We're now closing on this frequency. Our transmission will continue in a few moments on 7390 kHz. We turn now to 7390 kHz. This is New Zealand.